Hi guys, welcome to the midweek chat. It's been a minute. Valentine's Day just passed, and on that day, even though I didn't really celebrate it, and I'm not really like a heavy celebrator of the holiday, so but certain thoughts came to my mind, and I wondered, what does love really mean? To you, to me, to people, what do people really think love means? And so I remember that there was a midweek chat episode where I asked this question. So I have a lot of crazy answers today. I have some really serious answers and some really long answers. So guys, stay tuned and we're going to get into it in a bit. So guys, most of the responses are going to be in conversational form. So I'm going to be saying what I said and what I asked and what the person said, and you can also read it on the screen as well. So I'm going to start with this person who says, love means seeing, regarding, treating someone else as you would do yourself. Very simple. The things that will make you feel good, do to others. The things that hurt you, don't do to others. This applies to love in all instances. So are you saying that if you don't love yourself, you can't love others? Word. And this is where people go hurting themselves, believing or hoping and having the sense of entitlement that people should show them love or people owe them love, when they don't even know what they want. That's an unfair thing to do and makes you selfish. You don't rest the burden of a responsibility you couldn't carry on someone else and expect them to do it well. So yeah, when you love yourself, you will know how to love people. And when you love yourself, you will know when not to take shit in the name of love. Life is really simple. I always say this. Human beings just have an inexplicable affinity for making life really complicated. So that's the first the first response for today, and that was really interesting. The guy went hard. Like I have to give it to him. Like he just went and hit the nail on the head. There's no, in fact, I feel like we should just end this video and go home. But yeah, I'm gonna keep going through the responses. So this next person says, I'm gonna be reading and learning on this one, because me, I don't think I really know what it truly means. Very honest. So you've never loved anyone in your whole life? My kind of love is not what the world needs. Hence the question, what does love mean to you? I really thought it was about giving your best, caring for and adding value. But now I'm confused. It boils down to proving it by status, money and all. And if you look at it objectively, it is not wrong for anyone to crave these things. For ladies to crave safe havens. All animals roll with the strongest and fittest. In our world, that should be the healthiest financially and physically and maybe morally. So right now, I'm just waiting it out. When I feel adequate, I will try to love in the capacity I can. I'm not sure I get you. Are you talking about what you think love is or what others say love is? Like I said, following my own notion hasn't worked much. Makes me beg and keep reassuring. And it's not working because things aren't getting any better. Thank God they aren't getting any worse either. Everyone will expect a 31-year-old guy with my degree, job experience, certifications, and musical skills, amongst others, to be able to thrive and do relatively well. But that's not the case, and I'm tired of trying to make someone see it. Last words. As you grow older, love no longer becomes about feelings, butterflies and stuff. It's about capacity, eligibility, and responsibility. So guys, I know that particular conversation was a bit confusing, because I think I was actually confused during the conversation. But going back now, I realized that what he was trying to say is, yes, he has what love means to him, and he also has what he has experienced, right? So even though the question is, what does love mean to you? So I didn't really expect him to say all those other long stuff, but it's the midweek chat. You can say anything you want. So what he was basically trying to say is that, yeah, loving, caring for somebody, adding value, protecting them, that's what he thought love was. But with this day and age, with the things going on around the world, it seems like love is just all about money, material stuff, assets and things like that. And for somebody like him, even with his education and all his skills, it seems like because he doesn't have a certain level of money, he can never really get true love. So yeah, that's basically what he's saying. I do not totally agree with it, but that's his opinion and I really appreciate it. So this next person says, love is to put the needs and desires of other people above your own. Love is all about what you can give without any expectation. Love is a decision. So if you have no choice in the matter, then it's not love? No. If you have no choice in the matter, then it's not love, it's fear. Deep. So what she is trying to say here is that it's a decision. Basically, it's a choice. Love is not something that just happens. Love is not something that you are coerced into doing or into feeling. Love is making a decision that this person right here, I'm gonna do everything I can for them, even if it's to my own detriment, even if it's about putting their needs above mine. Now, I would not say I totally agree with the whole putting the needs of others above mine. Now, yes, I get it that sometimes you love somebody and you just feel like you can't do anything for them. But like I've said in my previous videos, the human being is inherently selfish. So if you do not think that you can get something by doing what you're doing, either because you feel like if you do what you're doing, the person is going to love you more, or you'd have some kind of points to argue with in the future and say, oh, I did this for you, after all I did for you, So yes, I'm not saying that there are no people who are genuinely selfless, right? I've had situations where I do things and I'm like, why did I even do that? Like, I just did that because I love this person and it's not because I was going to benefit anything from them. Yes, that happens. And so that's not to say that if you are feeling that way out there, then it's not love. No, I'm saying it happens. But generally speaking, most times people do it out of selfishness. Most times people will not just make that decision to do things that puts other people's needs above theirs, right? And that's also separate from doing things for somebody at your own detriment. For me, I feel like that is toxic. Like, if something harms you, I don't care how much you love that person, do not do it, period. Like, I do not care. And if a person is allowing you to do stuff that harms you just for their sake, then they don't love you. Okay, so this is me deviating, so I'm going to go back into the responses. Maybe I'll tell you my take at the end of the video. So this next person is just a clown. This person says, love is the sound of cash registers ringing, the quiet hum of the ATM machine dispensing. Love is the smell of freshly printed currency. Love is the ability to give me money without asking for anything in return or expecting anything in return. Love is pure. This person is just not serious. But yeah, what this person is trying to say is, man, put your money where your mouth is. If you love me, show me the money. Okay? And that's what love means to him. And yeah, it's a guy. So that's what love means to him. And I respect that. I truly respect that. I'm always the proponent of, as long as you and your partner are on the same page, as long as you're honest with each other and you communicate with each other, by all means, define what you want things to mean. If love means money, then let it be money to you. You know what I'm saying? So moving on to the next person. This person says, love is everything to me. Love is beautiful. It's forgiving. It's having an affection for someone or something, even when he or she has nothing. It's when you ask yourself, why do I love this person? And there's really no reason you can think of. Love is she or he first before you. So this person's response is like it's like an answer to the previous guy who was like, oh, you know what, love is money. And this person is like, love is having that affection for somebody even when the person doesn't have anything. So like, guys, if you have opposing views like this, there's no reason why these two people should even be in a relationship. This is me now entering into compatibility. Now that's not what this video is about, but I'm just saying, like, imagine those two people are in a relationship. Can you imagine the hell? So yeah, that's what this person says. And also corroborating with what the previous girl also said, where it's about putting other people before you. Well, that's fine too. So this other person here quoted 1 Corinthians chapter 13 as her definition of love. So I'm just going to read a little bit, but you can like read up everything. Well, it's not really that long. Okay, I'm just going to read the caption like in between. So it says, love never gives up. Love cares more for others than for self. Love doesn't want what it doesn't have. Love doesn't strut, doesn't have a swelled head, doesn't force itself on others, isn't always me first, doesn't fly off the handle, doesn't keep score of the sins of others, doesn't revel when others grovel, takes pleasure in the flowering of truth, puts up with anything, trusts God always, always looks for the best, never looks back, but keeps going to the end. Okay, so this is straight up from the Bible, and it almost seems like you do not want to really, like, you know, say stuff that opposes what's written in the Bible, but I'm just gonna say, like, what does it mean by, like, what does puts up with anything mean exactly? Like, I'm just saying, it's too broad. Like, this is one of the things about the Bible, anybody can interpret it to suit themselves, right? So a guy or a woman who abuses her husband and vice versa would look at this and be like, oh, I've apologized to you, so love should put up with anything. No, I do not agree. I'm sorry, St. Paul, but I don't just agree with that. What do you mean by put up with anything? Like, maybe there's a different explanation. Maybe there's a deeper meaning to this. And please, guys, if you're watching this video, in the comment section, please tell me what your understanding of this verse means. There's so many other awesome things in the verse. Never gives up, cares more for others than self, which was what other people have been saying. Doesn't want what it doesn't have, so you're not jealous or covetous, you know. Doesn't have a swelled head, so pride, doesn't have pride, doesn't force itself on others, obviously. So isn't always me first, right? But you remember, you see what the Bible says. It says isn't always me first, which means sometimes it can be me first. Sometimes it is necessary for it to be me first. Okay, so this is us just dissecting 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And guys, please, I would really love your own take on this particular response, right? So yeah, I really love this. Like, they always use this during weddings, and it's so beautiful. But I have a problem with puts up with anything, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. So this next person says, love to me is wishing others well, being after the well-being of another person, and that person includes yourself, because you can't give what you don't have. So yeah, that's nice. Basically goes with what most people have already been saying. So this person says, love means everything for me. Somebody else is saying everything again. I mean, it's this thing that gives life a sense. Love is about sharing, caring for one another. Think of the other before I think of myself. And my best definition is what the Bible says. But I also think that love is not only about the other people. Self-love is a form of love. I get up in the morning, take a shower, eat, go to the university so that I can get a degree and possibly get a better life in the future. But why am I doing all this? Because I want to be the best for myself. And why do I want the best for myself? Because I love myself. So to some extent in this life, we are all driven by love, no matter what kind of love it is. It's actually a really, really nice one, because this is the first person that, yes, the first guy said, oh, you can't give what you don't have, so you must learn to love yourself. But this girl really delved deep into it to talk about, why are you motivated to do anything in life? Like, why don't you just lay on the bed, not eat, not work out, not work, not make money, not do anything? It's because on some deep level, we are all driven by the love of self, not wanting to let ourselves down. And I think that should be the greatest form of love. And when we keep doing that for ourselves, then we become such awesome human beings that we start attracting the best people. This is me going again into, like, I'm jumping to the end of the video. I was supposed to give my own take and I'm not done with the takes. Okay, so this next person says, love means understanding. Love means putting yourself in another's shoes. Love is remembering little details, taking into consideration another's feeling. I think this one, if I take a bit of her definition and put it in somebody else's definition, it would be the perfect definition of love, because she's not saying put yourself above others, but she's saying put yourself in the shoes of other people. Now, what does this do for you? This makes you understand other people, not just on a shadow level, but on an empathetic level, where you're like, okay, if I were the one, will I like this? So it's basically the definition in the Bible where it says, love your neighbor as yourself. If you wouldn't do this to yourself, why should you do it to somebody else? So this is different. So when you're doing something for somebody that you love, you're not putting their needs before yours. You're just doing those things that you would like to be done to you. I don't know if this makes sense. Amen, somebody. Okay. So, okay, let's go. Since you didn't state to define love via any particular window, I'll go with a generic overview. I think love is simply to give that which you can take. Adhering strictly to the laws of life that equates to that which you do for or to others, you definitely do for or to yourself. Today, the words selfless and selfish find themselves under different umbrellas of definition, with proud and distinctive adherents of materialistic orientation. Whew. I think love is a perfect blend of both characteristics without the vanity. Referencing the very sentence man is advised to live by, love your neighbor as thyself. Okay, I feel like this person is just saying what I said. Like, yes, this happened like a year ago, but this person is copying what I just said. Is deductible. The fact that loving yourself is a scale upon which you can dish love for others. I believe loving yourself is key to happiness, for it to bring forth a multitude of pleasantries, going way beyond the okay, I can't pronounce these words. Okay. I believe loving yourself first is key to happiness, for it to bring forth a multitude of pleasantries, going way beyond the ensconcing of materials. Did I pronounce that well? Meaning that any deed whatsoever that one puts into life finds its way back. So one should be mindful enough to want the good things of life by sowing its equivalent selfishly and selflessly, by living in love. I would love to write more, but what? You just give us a dissertation, like. And he said, since he didn't, like, I didn't give it like a window of definition. Like I said, what does love mean to you? Okay, that's a window of definition. Anyway, but this is actually a really, really beautiful write-up, because he is going from the angle of karma. Right? So if you believe in karma, this is exactly what he's just saying. Oh, put love out there so that you get love in return and all that. Then love yourself before you can dish out love to other people. So going back to what the first guy said, you cannot give what you don't have, man. Like, if you cannot give yourself love, you don't have love enough for yourself, then how can you give it to others? I remember one time when I tried to give blood, I was feeling like, you know what, I'm doing something good. And then I went and I said, like, you know what, take my blood. And then the nurse was like, you don't have enough to give. Right? She wasn't saying that I was deficient in any way, but she was just like, what you have is just enough for you. And that resounded a lot in a lot of things I do, because I'm like, you need to have excess in order to give out. That's simple logic. You can't give out money if you do not have. Develop yourself to the point where you're like, yes, you know, I'm a complete human being. I love myself. Then I can give love out. But then we're not still defining what love is. These people are like, you're doing okay. Okay, so this last person finally says, growing up, my parents had a frame hanging in the hallway that read, love is understanding, kindness, and trust. And every time I had to go out, I'd walk through the corridor and see it, not realizing the words were already buried somewhere in my subconscious. Fast forward to adulthood, faced with life's experiences and choices, I find it is still the most all-encompassing definition of love, as it has several angles. I use it as a yardstick for myself. If you ain't got understanding, kindness, trust, then it's not love. And I try to apply this not just romantically, but in my dealings or interactions with people. So guys, that's the last response for today. Like, so interesting, wouldn't you agree? And this girl is saying that if love doesn't have understanding, if love doesn't have trust, if love doesn't have kindness, then it ain't love. And it makes sense, because it kind of like really encompasses all the other definitions. To understand means to put yourself in another person's shoes and understand where they're coming from. Kindness means to do things for other people from your heart, right? Whether or not you're putting their needs before yours, if you feel like it's not something you're selfishly trying to do just because you're trying to ensure that it gets back to you, which is the karma guy, then by all means do it, right? It's as long as it's not harming you, as long as you're not putting up with anything. And then trust, right? You need to trust a person. Like, for you to love somebody, then it has to be trust. Both ways, obviously. Like, guys, this whole thing is both ways. Don't think that if I have enough in a relationship, then it's enough to cover both. Lie. Okay? Both of you must have almost equal, right? Almost equal. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like in between every response I said a lot, so I don't want to like overflog the issue. But let me just say, to me, yes, everything that everybody has said on point, 100%. But personally, I'll just say that love is that one thing that you cannot describe. I know you guys are like, no, you're not gonna go with that cliche answer, but it's the truth. Sometimes you just love somebody and you're just like, why do I love you? And when you answer that, it seems like you're just answering the reasons for liking somebody. Like, oh, because you are a nice person. You can, that's the same reason for liking a friend. But what changes? At what point does it change from love, from like to love, right? What changes? And that's one thing that I've never been able to understand. Like, I don't know. And I feel like that's where God's love comes in. And the truth is, we are supposed to strive to love just like God loves us. But we're humans and we're not perfect. So even though God puts up with all our shit, like God puts up with anything, and that's where the definition comes from in First Corinthians. It says puts up with anything. Like you do this, and tomorrow you're just like, you know what, God, I'm sorry, and that's it. It's all gone. But can we humans do that? It's tough, man. Like you're like, but that's how you said the other time that you would always want to win. You would always want to prove that you're right. You'd always want to say stuff to punch the other person just because they punched you with their words. So it's hard, but I feel like we could all try to strive for First Corinthians definition. But if you're in an abusive relationship, please get out of there. Don't put up with that. Okay guys, I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching this music chat, and if you're new, please subscribe. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and all the questions I asked during the video, please put your answers in the comment section. I want to know your take on this one. Like, I really want to know. Before I used to want to know, but I really want to know this time. So just put all your answers in the comment section and let's have a nice argument about this and the conversation. And thank you all for watching. Happy Valentine's Day week. Yeah, bye.